have to promise me not to show yourself to anyone.
Did this strange blonde girl count? Friend? I see you're busy.
Twilight left this morning to retrieve some groceries and told me to keep an eye out on you. So don't try any funny tricks. I can breathe fire.
Wait, Twilight told you about me?
Yes, but she didn't need to. I live here too, you know, and it was hard for me not to notice how panicked she was when she rushed inside. She told me to hide behind that table and cover my ears. I did as told, but I couldn't help but to take a sneak peek to have a look at you. What are you exactly?
My name is shiloh, and I'm from Earth. I know there is this point, and I'm looking at why I'm here, or who I am supposed to be.
Yeah, it was just a few days ago that Twilight told me about who...
Please, continue. What did Twilight tell you about me?
It was nothing, really. She read about it in a book or something. I don't really remember. Just a...
Oh!
Oh, look! Twilight is back! He turned around and discovered me taking cover behind the bed as if a boogeyman had just broken in. What the heck are you doing?
Where is he?
He's right here! I swear I didn't do anything to him.
I thought you were someone else. This being a public capital library and all.
Oh, it's okay. I'm glad you took such precautions for the sake of our promise. Myself, I bought some books from the bookshop about more complicated teleportation spells. Meanwhile, I borrowed these from a friend of mine. You can stay here until I found a way. Spike, will you go and bed these sheets on our extra mattress?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have sweet dreams?
Actually, yes. Wait, you said spells?
Yes, I perform magic.
Interesting.
Spike was quickly finished with his mission, and while Twilight kept reading books, he and I sat down and discussed my questions about this world. He told me a lot of things. It was the ever-free forest that I had come from, but it did not surprise him that I did. Apparently, the ever-free forest is the home of many weird creatures, and he was also surprised that I had not seen any monsters on my way out of it. He also told me that the main population here was ponies, similar to humans on Earth. This place, country, planet, whatever, was named Equestria, with the Princess Celestia being the ruler and living in Canterlot, the capital city, I assumed. Soon my mind was filled with facts about this place. I have now been imprisoned in Twilight's library for 3 days. She treats me like a guest, giving me dinner, making my bed, and literally, she wasn't lying about studying hard to find a way for me to get back. But I was not allowed to leave. That was the condition. I was really curious about this town, going through my memories of running across the village of Ponyville 3 days earlier to remember every detail. But my loyalty was just too big for any escape attempts. But honestly, it would be pretty easy for me to escape. It was not like as if I had chains holding me to a wall. When Twilight was home, she never locked the door, and I would easily be able to sneak out during one of her studying sessions. Fighting boredom was not a big problem, actually. When I was not talking to Twilight or Spike, hearing their interesting stories about this place, I was reading books and more books. The advantage of living in a library. I read everything I got my hands on. I learned about the elements of harmony, how Equestria was founded, and literature. Yeah, everything, pretty much. During these 3 days, I had plowed through about 10 books. That day was the first day I was left home alone in this library. Proof of how much Twilight really trusted me. And I screwed it up. Pretty badly. Twilight had left to go to the Everfree Forest to gather some ingredients, and Spike had to come with her since he is a good digger. I didn't really imagine Twilight getting her hooves dirty anyway. They left early in the morning so that they would have lots of time, and I swore to stay and not to be seen by anyone else, no matter what. I broke both of those promises that day. I was reading about spells written by Starswell the Bearded when the knocking came. A very light and optimistic voice was heard behind that creaky door.
Hello? Twilight? You've been so mysterious and spooky lately. I decided to check what's going on. Are you there?
She knocked again.
Hello?
I was waiting for her to leave, but she didn't. It was like she had no common sense about someone not being home. I was just standing there looking at the door. And even after hearing no response for a while, she was still there. I felt my fear turning into anger as I could not help but shouting,
She's not here!
Hello? I'm coming in.
I knew
No time to wait! Ouch!
just like last time, I was now waiting underneath a layer of Twilight's bedsheets. I could not express how lucky I was feeling at that moment for taking that precaution. Twilight had forgotten to lock the door. The doorknob was turned, and I could hear the hoofsteps of another pony entering my castle. I was shaking my nervousness as I didn't know what would happen if she saw me. I could not fail Twilight. I just couldn't. But at that moment, I realized that my left leg was peeking out and visible from the other side of the bed. So I crawled back a bit so I could get into a better position. If I only hadn't done what I had just done, I would have maybe gotten away with it. As I crawled back, my head bumped into the nightstand next to the bed. It made a clear but loud noise that anyone would notice. My heart stopped as the intruder said,
Oh, I've got you now.
As she walked up the stairs towards me, she giggled as if this was a game of hide and seek. She was closer, now on the other side of the bed, and any movement I made would make the situation worse. She must have noticed my not-so-clever disguise as she yelled,
Aha! I gotcha!
as she pulled off the sheets and got the surprise of a lifetime. Me.